Hey, this is RJ Mitte, and you're watching Mr. Mario 2011.
Hey, what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and today I am bringing you another commentary. Yes, I've been trying to catch up on commentaries a little bit. I noticed with my channel, I always do a thing where sometimes I'll do a lot of commentaries. I'm like, oh man, I'm doing too many commentaries. I should do some tutorials. I should do some vlogs. Then I do a bunch of those, and then I know I've done too many tutorials and other things when all of a sudden people are like, hey, are you going to make another commentary? When's another commentary coming along? So thank you all. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all my viewers. Yes, even the haters, because hey, you somehow you push up my SEO. You make the views go up as well. So I got to show you all some love too. But you all get more love. The supporters get way more love than those other guys. But anyways, what I was going to say was, yeah, some people have been asking for commentaries, so I really like doing commentaries. I just haven't really done any recently, so I'm knocking some out. I actually just did another one. It was a Tales from the Classroom episode, and I figured I would do this one as well. So anyways, this is going to be a pretty short one, but I've gotten this question asked multiple times now, and I planned on doing this commentary later, but I waited a few, later as in now, but I waited a few months to do it, just so, you know, if people were asking and all that, and there was a decent amount of demand, I could just answer it in one video instead of replying every time. So, one question here. This gets asked a lot. People watch this video right here that you probably just saw in the intro, but I'll play it again.
Hey, this is RJ Mitte, and you're watching Mr. Mario 2011.
They see that video right there, and then they always freak out. Not everyone, but a lot of people, mostly people who have come to my channel for the first time, they freak out, and they're like, RJ Mitte, Walter Jr., it's Flynn! In case you don't understand any of those, that person who's giving me the shout-out, his name is RJ Mitte. He is an actor. He was in the show Breaking Bad. He's very well known for that. And he played a character named Walter Jr. in the show, whose nickname is also Flynn within the show. So that's why people say that. And the one question that always comes off that intro is, how did you meet RJ Mitte? How did you get that video done? Some people apparently think that, like, I paid them off or something like that. But no, nothing like that ever happened. Don't worry. This is a short story, but, you know, I'll go ahead and share. Well, I'm thinking it will probably be short, but whatever. Anyways, so this is what happened, okay? This was back in either March or April, I want to say. It was one of those 2 months. The night I actually met him, I uploaded the video. So if you go back to the original video, it's just called RJ Mitte Shoutout, or Shoutout from RJ Mitte. I think that's what it's called. You'll get the exact date of when I met him. I uploaded that video like no more than 20 minutes after I got to meet him. But anyways, this is what happened. Over at my local university, the one I am actually attending, he ended up coming over on a Friday night. In case you do not know, you might think that he sounds kind of weird in there. And he does, just because he actually has a mild form of cerebral palsy. It's a lot better now, and he actually used to be physically handicapped. However, in the show Breaking Bad, several people have asked if he really speaks like that. In the show Breaking Bad, he did slow down his speech a tiny bit, and he put a stutter on his character. However, aside from that, he is able to walk, he is physically capable, but he does sound like that. Like the way he talks, that's how he normally sounds. But what happened was he ended up coming because I believe we had a week where, you know, we were pretty much open to everyone, and it was just, you know, celebrating, yeah, you know, handicapped people, we can, you know, show them that, you know, they can come to college, they have hope here, we have programs set up for them, things like that. So, you know, we're going to be an open, accepting university, kind of like, you know, how several universities, you know, for like a week, you know, they'll have like gay pride or something like that. You know, I mean, we kind of did the same thing, except, you know, with physical and mental handicaps. So what happened was, to top it all off, on Friday, we had a free lecture from RJ Mitte. I'm saying it's a lecture, it kind of was, but essentially he was coming over to talk to us about his experience with cerebral palsy growing up and being an actor with it, a very well-known actor. So what happened was, a friend of mine who really, really likes Breaking Bad, he actually watched the whole series about a year after I finished it. He fell in love with it. Him and I, we share a lot of common interests when it comes to TV shows, because I really got into Lost at one point in high school. About a year or two after I finished Lost, he ended up going through the whole thing. He loves it. And it was one of those things, he just started asking people, okay, I finished Lost, what do I watch now? And one thing, if you were a fan of Lost, you might notice this, but many people who are big fans of Lost ended up going from Lost to Breaking Bad. And now that Breaking Bad is over, I don't know where we're going to go. So you all are still Losties with me. But what ended up happening was I, hit up my friend. I'm like, hey, RJ Mitte is coming, free show, do you want to come with? He immediately said yes, so we got there a few hours early. We got some awesome seats. Then they actually had to kick us out of the auditorium because they had to, clean up some stuff and all that. So we got back out. We got back in about an hour later, got our awesome seats again, front row and center, you guys. It was awesome. And what ended up happening, RJ Mitte came out, and he was speaking and everything. And, people kept it, very classy. And by that, I mean they asked him, very educated questions. He was a great guy to talk with and everything. And of course, there were a few references thrown from the show and everything like that. But, my thing was, I was telling my friend, I'm like, I really hope this does not turn into a Breaking Bad Q&A. Not because I dislike Breaking Bad, I love the show, but because I actually want to know what he's going to be talking about. So, of course, there were a few Breaking Bad references thrown in here and there, but aside from that, it was all about cerebral palsy, physical, mental handicaps, things like that. Now, I believe the show was at 8 o'clock, and the auditorium was supposed to close at 10. So he went on stage, he started speaking for about 45 minutes or so, and then about 45 minutes in, what happened is the people who were in charge of the event ended up coming onto stage. They took the mic and they said, okay, guys, so I'm sorry, we got to cut you off, because I believe he spoke and then we did a Q&A, but they said, I'm sorry, we have to cut you all off. But RJ Mitte insisted on this 15 minutes before we went on stage. We didn't even know about it, so we just got a 15-minute forewarning, and he insisted he does this. But he wants to do a meet and greet with everyone in the auditorium, so if you would like to, take a picture with him, shake his hand, get a video, anything like that, please line up on this side of the auditorium or this side, and you will get a photo with him. So I want to say like 10% of the auditorium left, because I'm pretty sure they just thought, we're not going to be able to get in. And my friend and I were kind of hesitating, but we're like, okay, let's do it. And unfortunately, the hesitation did lead us to being some of the last people to talk to him. However, we were still able to get through. And that is the thing. This guy, oh my God. And I'm not saying this because I was starstruck or anything, but RJ, I will say this, is as sweet as you can imagine. He is just the nicest guy ever. As I said, he insisted he did that. He met with every single person in the auditorium. He even stayed late and everything. But what ended up happening is my friend goes up first, and he's just like, because at this point it got to the point where they're just like, okay guys, please only do one thing. And people were taking selfies, and they had their own phones and all that. And they said, okay, you all, no more phones, no more personal devices. We are going to be taking photos with our professional camera to hurry this up because we have to get out of here by 10. We didn't get out by 10. It was later than that. But anyways, they said, we're going to be taking our own personal photos. We are going to upload them to the webpage. You all can get them there. So what happens is we finally get up there. My friend goes up, and he has RJ, he pulls out his iPod. He's like, hey, RJ, can you give my mom and dad a shout out and tell them to have an A1 day? So he hits record on his iPod. RJ says it, and then he's just like, thank you, you're awesome. He ends up hugging RJ. Then he's just like, hey, you, take a picture. And the photo guy, he had this look on his face like, excuse me, did you just speak to me like that? And he like looks at the other people, and they're like, well, he's already up there. Just take the photo, okay? So the guy took the photo, my friend leaves, that's it. Then I go up to RJ, and I'm just like, hey, RJ, it's great to meet you. I shook his hand. Then he's just like, okay, let's get a photo. So, I get a photo with him. I shake his hand. I'm like, man, thank you for coming out here. It's been awesome. Great meeting you. And then all of a sudden the photographer says, well, wait a minute. We need to get a photo again because this photo screwed up. I'm so happy they said that. But what happened was then I'm just like, okay, another photo. Take a photo of him. I shake his hand again. I'm like, RJ, super nice meeting you. Thank you for coming out. Safe travels, all that. And I go down. What happens is everyone is pretty much leaving the auditorium, right? But my friend is just sitting in the front row. So I sit down next to him, and I'm just like, so are we going to be leaving or what? And he's like, man, I don't know. I want to take it in. Because my friend had actually just met a bunch of Actually, this was probably either late March or early April. But the reason why I'm saying this is because for spring break, he'd actually gone to the local Comic-Con over here, and he had met a bunch of famous people. He's just like, man, you know, I just want to take it in, honestly. Like, if they kick me out, I don't really care, because I am probably never, ever going to see RJ Mitte again. Like, just look right there. That is RJ Mitte in front of us. I'm like, yeah, man, you're right. So, you know, we were just sitting for about 10, 15 minutes. Then the whole crew that was there, everyone took photos. And then, you know, they took, you know, several different photos with him. Then he sat down because our local newspaper was there. And they asked if they could get an interview with him. So he said, sure. So what happened was he sits down. As he's sitting down, my friend starts asking him, by the way, we know now because my friend asked him that RJ actually likes turkey bacon. He did not think it was that bad. And if you don't understand, like if you're wondering why I'm saying this, it's a reference from Breaking Bad, okay? Anyone who's watched Breaking Bad is probably laughing right now because they understand what I'm talking about. But anyways, yes, he likes turkey bacon. My friend talked to him about it for a few minutes. And I talked to my friend, I'm like, you know, I'm thinking of maybe, because I had this idea, I'm thinking of maybe asking him to do an intro for my channel. Do you think it'd be okay? And my friend's like, dude, just ask. Like, it'd be awesome if he could. If he can, I mean, it will suck, but just ask him. Right before we're about to leave, I'm just like, hey, RJ, and I felt bad about it. I felt kind of intrusive, but here's my logic, okay? Honestly, I'm probably never going to meet RJ Mitte again. I will probably never see him. Worst case thing that was going to happen at that moment in time, he would have said no. So this is what happened, okay? I can feel my heart rate racing a little bit, and I asked him, like, hey, RJ, I just wanted to ask you before you go. And he had already sat down. He was about to do the interview. That's why I felt like a dick about it. But I'm just like, RJ, I just want to know. And I was kind of a little bit nervous. Not going to lie, I was a little bit nervous. So I actually screwed this up. And I was like, yeah, I want to know. I have kind of a small to moderately sized YouTube channel. And I wanted to know, would you mind if I just recorded you doing like a 10 or 15 minute intro? And then when I say that, I swear there was just like a pause. And the lady who's in front of me, who's with the crew, she just looks at me with like this cringy look, and she starts like lightly shaking her head no. As in like, not like, you know, SMH, shake my head, but as in like, no, do not ask him. Don't bug him about that. And then he's just like, wait, 10 or 15 minutes? And I'm just like, oh, RJ, I'm sorry, I meant seconds. I did not mean minutes. He's like, okay. Because I was about to say, I can't talk for 10 or 15 minutes about something I don't know about, but yeah, sure. You know, as long as it's just a few seconds, let's do it. Sure, let's go ahead. And that was the first thing that was awesome. He was actually excited to do this intro for me. So what happens, he sits up, he gets out of the chair, and I go over to him, I pull out my phone, right? And then he's just like, okay, so what's your channel name? And I tell him, my channel name is Mr. Mario 2011. And he's just like, Mr. Mario? All right. So then he's like, okay, so what do you want me to say? I was like, well, I guess say what you want, but I guess something would be along the lines of, hey, this is RJ Mitte, you're watching Mr. Mario 2011. So he's just like, okay, are we rolling? And when he said that, I was going through my phone, and I pulled up the camera app, changed it to video, and I start recording. Like when he says, are we rolling? Like I'm just like, oh, yeah. And if you go and watch the intro, like the uncut intro that I uploaded, you're going to notice at the very beginning, it's really, really shaky. I wasn't nervous at this point, but I was just so surprised that I had like a little adrenaline rush and my hands were shaking. So I start recording, and as I start recording, I'm like, wait, my hands are shaking too much. So I kind of like put my elbows and my arms, like I push them into my stomach and my chest, right? So I'm able to just get my phone all stabilized on the fly. As it gets stabilized, he says, hey, this is RJ Mitte, and you're watching Mr. Mario 2011. And the best part of it, if you pay attention to the intro, is he, like, puts up a little, like, he puts up his finger, like, as a little gun or something, you know? Like, he just does that to the camera. I just thought that was awesome. Well, technically to the phone. And then I'm just like, yes. I say that. The video starts shaking a little bit. That was the end of it because my hands were shaking. So after that, I put the phone away. I shook his hand again. I'm like, RJ, thank you so much. You are awesome, man. And he's like, hey, you know, I don't mind. It's all good. He was the coolest guy ever about it, you all. Like, he was just, I cannot stress it. enough, but he was just so cool about it. And as I said, one of the best things was that he was actually excited to do the intro. He wasn't annoyed at all. The only thing was when I slipped up and said minutes instead of seconds, he just got very questiony because he's like, wait, how am I going to make a 15-minute video right now? So what happened? That all happened. I said, hey, thank you so much for coming out again. I really appreciate it. It was awesome meeting you. Thank you for doing this. And then we bid farewell. We walked off. As we exit the auditorium, my friend and I are just flipping out. And I'm just like, dude, he did it. He actually did it. Look at my hands. They're shaking. Look at this. I'm just freaking out about it. And he's just like, dude, you did it. That's awesome. We high five and everything. We're talking about it. And as I'm leaving, I actually texted one of my friends who's out in California because I told her, you know, I'm going to be meeting RJ Mitte and all that. She doesn't know what Breaking Bad is. I told her he's from Breaking Bad. And I had already met him. After I met him the first time to get the photo, I had already texted her. Then after that, I text her, and I'm just like, oh my god, my hands are shaking. And she texts me back. She's like, okay, really? I've met famous people before. I mean, it's cool, but I don't get starstruck. I'm like, no. Just you wait, okay? I don't get starstruck either, but just you wait to see what happened. So then she was kind of interested, so I get in my car, I drive home. As soon as I get into my apartment, I upload the video to YouTube, pull out my phone, you know, I already had it out technically, but I upload it to YouTube, and then I text her, and I'm just like, go to my YouTube channel right now. And then that's where she saw it. I was just like, that is why my hands are shaking. So then I had told a few other people about it. I had linked the video, and that video got a decent amount of views too, but now you all know this video was a lot longer than I thought, but I wanted to tell the whole story and nothing but that, I guess. But that is how I met RJ Mitte. As I said, as a recap, he is such an awesome guy. Like, literally, whenever people ask, they're just like, well, how was it meeting him? I'm like, oh my god, he is the nicest guy. Like, the way you imagine him, like, if you're just like, yeah, I'm sure he seems like a really sweet, nice guy, even nicer than that. Like, he is such an awesome person overall, just for doing all of that. But yeah, that was it. So that is how my intro came to fruition, and that is how I have the photo of RJ Mitte with me, and that is how I met RJ Mitte. So that's about it. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Think what this girl learned. Sex sells like next tails, yeah, that next swell, she still earn. I know she just wanna text sales, that next drink, that next illness, all being your ex. Well, that's why we never excel. You breathe in and I exhale, exhale, exhale. You looking for my